So the St. Louis County Attorney's Office reportedly declined to pursue charges against two white men who assaulted a black woman at a local bar. They say, but the Duluth City Attorney's Office says they will. They say the Duluth Police Department said the city's lawyer will charge Scott Raybold, 41, and Mylan Griak, 56, both of Duluth with fifth-degree assault, after SLCAO decided not to. Without giving a comment on the rationale, officials in Duluth believe that there is enough evidence to get a successful conviction for the charges put forth by the city attorney, as they're pointing mostly to surveillance video, as they of the assault from inside the rustic bar from Tuesday, September the 12th, that left the victim with traumatic brain injuries and a condition that could lead to an impediment with cognitive ability. And so on September 18th, the DPP released a statement saying the footage shows the victim, Michelle Folston, 39, and another woman having a conversation that turned physical. That's when the two males became involved in the confrontation and assaulted the female. The statement continued, as according to what was reported. Now, in addition to the security video, Folston posted images of her injuries on social media, as they're sharing with her followers that she was kicked in the head and left unconscious outside the West Duluth establishment. And according to the doctor, Folston's clothes and shoes had drag marks on them that showed that she was being dragged on her side. And that's when she finally woke up after being jumped by the men. She found herself alone in the dark as a parking lot of the bar. Now, ladies, let me say something to you. Be careful going places by yourself. Just be careful with that. And two, what kind of place was she really at? Because, for them to be that bold don't sound like there's a lot of other black people in there. Because usually when other blacks are in an area, they don't get that bold with you. So to me, just kind of, if I'm a betting man, it kind of sounded like she was somewhere where most of them folks was at and they had no black people around. As they not continuing, they said the victim gathered herself up and walked about 4 to 5 minutes to reach her daughter, believing her child would help her. They say the daughter says her mother's teeth went through her lip. She had 2 swollen black eyes, a gash between her eyebrows, and her head was swollen, and blood was everywhere. She says, I quote, I called 911 right away and they rushed her to the hospital and the ambulance to treat her injuries. It is known and said that some of the situation took place, in the bar, and they never called police or helped my mother. And they should be charged as well. You see someone getting beaten in your business, it is your duty to call the police, say, hey, this is going on in my establishment, because see, this was going to happen. And I hope she does this. I would sue that business because they didn't even try to assist, not even call the police at all. So yeah, to me, you're complicit in the beating. So you need to get sued as well. And so when police arrived, according to one report, they rushed her to the hospital in an ambulance. The officers watched the bar surveillance footage, which depicted Folston being assaulted by the men who knew the woman she was arguing with before they intervened. The 2 women, will not face charges. Community leaders and activists are calling for the men to be held accountable, noting that witnesses said that no one at the bar even tried to call 911 or step in to intervene. And they also said that the on-duty bartender, had blood washed, off the premises before authorities arrived. Oh, so hold on. They trying to cover up evidence? He should be arrested for covering up evidence, or what they call that? Tampering with a crime scene. There you go. So it lets me know right then and there, oh yeah, it was the bar full of the folks. They covering for each other, and the police get there and they trying to tamper with evidence and no charges. Black people, let me tell you something. I've told you this many, many times before. I know some of y'all want to do your own thing and want to, I can live wherever I want. And you can. You sure can. Nobody can stop you. But when you're in these areas with these folks and you're in the minority, they act up in ways they normally don't act when there's more black people around. And when you go into these places and you're the only black person, you do that at your own risk. Not to say everybody gonna do you something, but you know what? What I have learned over the years, when it's more of them and 1 or 2 of us, somebody gets bold. And they on code with each other. So since they on code with each other, then you don't need to be in places like that. It's just that simple. But let me know what y'all think about, this situation. Like, don't end up like that. I know some of y'all go these places, some of y'all black folks, and oh, it's fine. Like, yeah, it's fine today, but one day it's gonna be a problem. And they're gonna be on code with each other always against black folks.